Freeze for a second. Oh,
Oh, it was optional, so I didn't do it.
oh okay.
This is something else I did mean to ask you actually, but
So people often answer questionnaires rather subjectively, but we're asking a very simple, straight list of symptoms, yes or no. Shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, fever, loss of taste, those kinds of symptoms. And if they're just anxious or it's due to allergy, we will see a different combination of those symptoms together, and they won't fit with a general pattern around them. So they won't be like an infectious disease. And that will be very clear once we get the maps of the disease to completely separate them. So with that data, we'll be able to say, if you've got this combination of symptoms, don't worry. If you've got these, they are a sign of the disease.
No, perché siamo agenzie diverse, cioè io sto per l'espresso. Non c'è niente di diverso, lì ci sarà mai niente di diverso.
For all we know, the disease is mutating. There might be different strains there. Each individual race or group might be responding differently to it. People on different diets might be responding differently, people on different drugs. So I think we've got to just keep an open mind and not be arrogant and think we can really understand this. And it's what's clear is that just the two classic symptoms, which are certainly classic, the fever and the dry, persistent cough, are certainly just one end of the spectrum. There's many people in clusters that we're seeing just so far that are showing much more minor symptoms on a much larger scale.
So the issue is we don't have enough testing, and as a result, we don't really know what's going on until people get really sick and come to the hospitals. However, in fact, lots of people are feeling these symptoms long before a few of them become very sick. And so what this app allows is for everybody to actually contribute, even though many of us, like myself, are at home, by sharing those symptoms, and so we can get 7 to 14 days ahead and start to understand what's going on, and as the software becomes smarter, start to distinguish between the symptoms for particular individuals, which are likely to be a big problem, and those which are going to be fine. If we want to have a good understanding of what's going on in a population, we really need at least 10% of the people there to be sharing this information. And the more that we want to understand what's happening with particular groups, then we need to make sure those groups are participating. And so the good news is we can get a very good picture in a particular region by getting lots of people in that region to participate. But if you really want to understand what's going on, we need you to convince your friends and everybody else to also use this app so that we get enough of a picture.
No, si obbligizza. Sì, stop.
Questo è un cazzo.
No, diverso terrazzo. realtà c'è qualcuno che addirittura deve magari provvedere.
By getting their up-to-date, very cheap results of whether they've had the virus or not, we can link that to all their previous data we've been collecting for 25 years. So we'll know exactly their gene sequence, we'll know their immune status, we know their state of their gut microbiome. And you link that immediately back to those things, so you can do a study in a few weeks that normally would take you years. So it's trying to do things fast is what we're trying to do.
Do it again.
Yep.